And in this corner, nerds!
And I'm going to talk about me, myself, and my problems here for a little while.
The Rule 34 questions were last week.
That's not a puzzle, it's pushing blocks.
I will accept confidently sounded episode numbers and issue numbers as actual evidence.
But I want to hear about your other shitty characters.
Of course, invest in a robotic Flavor Flav.
This is the Debate This podcast.
Let me adjust my nuts here real quick. All right.
Adjust those nuts.
Oh, that's going in the sting at the beginning now.
Good. Okay. Welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this podcast, we take time out of our busy adult lives to argue over the important things, like comics, video games, and which Mario sports game is the best Mario sports game. Catch me on the Toadstool Tour, bitches. My name is Matt Cole, and I'll be your moderator for this week. Today, we're launching our own sitcoms, because what this world needs more of is half-assed, pun-based humor, synthesized emotional coming-of-age tales, and shitty 1980s laugh tracks. To spice things up a bit, we're only casting our sitcoms with NPCs from our favorite games. Every straight-to-Netflix show is better when you've never heard of anyone in it, am I right? Now it's time to meet our showrunners for the week. And I'm contractually obligated to introduce to you Andrew always says sure when other people are talking Henderson, Kyle only laughs with hard nasal exhales Harper, and Todd types aggressively into his microphone Thomas. My name's Matt, and if you didn't know, I edit this podcast. Now let's double down on what will certainly be the worst pitch meeting of all time. Give me the title, the setting, and your main characters, but try to keep it briefish. I need elevator pitches on these sitcoms. Somebody go.
All right, here we go. Listen to me, Matt. So, you've heard of Seinfeld, right?
Unfortunately.
Of course you've heard of Seinfeld. Haha, sure. Let's take Seinfeld for a second and then imagine, how could you make it better? Let's put in Legend of Zelda characters. We're going to call it, now this is a tentative title, it's going to change. Tentative title is Highfeld. Now, Highfeld takes place in the Legend of Zelda universe. Now, this is canon. If any of you have played the Switch title Hyrule Warriors, you would know that there was some magic buffoonery that led to all of the universes colliding into one mega dimension. So I would like to kind of expand on that and then say, well, what happens if they all decide to move and try to make it in the big city?
Okay, so you're expanding on the content dump? The one game where they're like, fucking put everybody in! You're going to expand on that. Okay.
See, what they don't cover in all of this, like, you know, the fan favorite, fan canon stuff, is what happens after the credits. So Highfeld is going to be what happens after the credits. So the sitcom is going to focus on Fi, the sidekick from Skyward Sword, who is how should I explain this?
The worst character in the Legend of Zelda games.
The most hated character of all time.
Okay, so we're all on board. So Fi is the spirit of the goddess sword. So what happens is Fi left the group and decided to make the best of it in New York City and follow her dreams of becoming a stand-up comic. So we fast forward a couple months. Fi's already been settled in her new role in her new town. She's navigating this new life with her best friend Tingle, her ex-girlfriend Midna, and her wacky, kooky next-door neighbor Ravio.
I hate it. I already hate it.
Can I stop right? I don't know who Ravio is.
That is the one character that I haven't heard of. Yeah, who's Ravio?
Okay, Link Between Worlds. He's the goofy salesman. He's got the bunny mask. Look up Ravio.
Oh no, I got you now.
Is this the Mallow of the Legend of Zelda universe?
No, Ravio's awesome.
Or is he just the shitty annoying helper in that game?
Wait, I've caught Todd in a logic loop. I said Ravio. Wait, let's double down on this. So if Ravio is the Mallow of the universe of the Zelda universe, then Ravio is awesome. Yes.
Well, by default, yeah, I guess yeah.
Great, thanks for agreeing with me. So I'll quickly go over Ravio. He's this wacky salesman that you meet at the beginning of Link Between Worlds, and he rents you all your equipment. So basically, he comes into your house and he takes ownership of your house. He claims squatters' rights, and then he sells you all your shit back once you die. So that to me fit like a pretty good Kramer. That was a real one-to-one.
All right.
And and real quick, I'll go over the other characters because I have this all written down. So Tingle was my George Costanza, and Minna is my Elaine Benes. Minna obviously is sarcastic and very witty, but very, very insecure, as we know that Elaine was in the show. She's also very conflicted. She's always chiding and ridiculing Link, but on the inside, she's very insecure, knowing that no one sees the real her. It got very deep. Thanks, guys. Also, Tingle was my George Costanza. Tingle, just like George, lives his entire life in denial. He has woven this elaborate lie that he's a ferryman, and that he has all these magical powers, which obviously he's just an overweight 35-year-old with with crippling depression and a bad relationship with his father.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I was in a dark place when I wrote this, but I'm feeling like I kind of was.
But you were.
So do with that what you will.
All right. Well, while Andrew rekindles his emotions, we're going to jump over to Kyle. Tell me about your sitcom.
So my sitcom is one filled with wacky hijinks, the kind you can only get when you put two completely different people living under the same roof. On the one side, we've got a hardworking, clean-cut, almost sociopathic Pokemon trainer, Red, with his goof-around buddy, former Pokemon champion, Blue. You put these two together, put them under the same roof, you get The Oddish Couple, a show so packed with laughs, you can't ignore its girth.
I gotta say, so far, Kyle definitely got the branding aspect of everything down. You definitely win in that category.
That was what I'm going for. Short, sweet, and to the point.
That was all of those things. So, Todd, are you prepared to battle with the Oddish Couple?
I hate that Highfield and Oddish Couple were so good, but I'm going to set a stage for you. So we're looking at a post-apocalyptic world where there's still a place for survivors, radioactive mutants, and hulking lizard monsters known as Deathclaws, and they exist while trying to make sense of it all. When you take that, you have the zany misadventures of The Office, and combine it with the war-torn Life After the Bombs Dropped franchise that is Fallout, you're left with what I call the Wasteland.
Okay.
Because it's really good, and that's why I paused, so you can tell me how good it was. So, yeah, it pans across Nuka-Cola Town and everything.
Yeah.
So, to kind of follow off what Andrew did, so some of the main characters, the main aspect of this will be the intelligent and uncomfortable arcade Israel Gannon. He's playing the main focus. He's forced to navigate surviving life in the wasteland while also sharing a workspace with Strong, the overly violent super mutant, and trying to figure out how to work for a boss like Lily Bowen, a schizophrenic nightkin, and dealing with the annoying sad sack from HR who everyone hates, which is, of course, Preston Garvey. So if you've played any of the most recent Fallout games, at least something there is going to hit true, especially if you played Fallout 4, because Preston Garvey is the worst.
I don't know any of those characters.
I haven't played Fallout 4 either.
I know
quick question, is Preston Garvey believable as the Wasteland Strangler?
I think that would track. So Preston Garvey is, so to kind of go over some of these real quick, Preston Garvey is he's part of the Minutemen in the Commonwealth, and his big thing is he's actually a really good guy, but at a certain point in time in the game, like every time you go and talk to him, he's like, another settlement is under attack, and you're like, for fuck's sake, Preston, I just took care. Like in the whole story of Fallout 4 is you're trying to find your son. So like you're looking for your son. He's like, hey, by the way, that settlement still under attack. You know, that one you just saved? And you're like, God bless it, Preston Garvey. So he's really terrible. Lily Bowen is, so Nightkin, if I remember right, are mutants that experimented with stealth boys and they turned purple and went crazy. And so that's what Lily Bowen is, a giant purple mutant. You should probably Google that.
I did.
It's really good. So a very believable Michael.
I think you've just turned Matt into a Fallout fan.
Oh no, I've actually played Fallout. I'm not gonna lie, that's like one of the 3 RPGs I've played.
Oh, got them. Todd did his homework. And then Strong is just, again, every Fallout game tends to have a super mutant that joins your team at some point, and Strong is that super mutant, and he seemed to be a good Dwight Schrute for me. So I think this will be good.
I like it.
So Arcade Gannon is your Jim?
Oh, he is definitely Jim. So he's got like a weirder story where he came from, I think his dad was part of the Enclave, which are like obviously bad guys, and he kind of goes a different route to try to not be as much of a bad guy, but he's a little awkward and very intelligent. He's probably one of the more fun dialogue NPCs to have.
Okay.
Now, does this version of Arcade Gannon also get sold to slaves?
Ooh, nope, doesn't happen in my game. You played the wrong version of your game.
That was my favorite part of New Vegas.
And who is your Pam Beasley?
See, I thought about that. So, like, I believe in the game Arcade Gannon is gay, and I couldn't find anyone that I thought was, like, high enough quality for him. I've got high standards for Arcade Gannon, so...
Sure.
You at home, if you want to help Arcade Gannon set up his Tinder account, we can get him some matches in the Wasteland.
So this is going to be interesting because Todd has picked one of my favorite game franchises and hands down my least favorite sitcom of all time.
Yeah, hard mode, bitches.
You haven't included my favorite NPC from the Fallout series, and if that NPC sneaks its way in here, you're going to win. And if it doesn't, you're going to lose. So that's what's on the table for you, Todd. That is what's on the table for you.
Having Matt as a moderator is like watching Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse. It's like, just say the secret word and we go, ah!
Well, the good news is, though, Fallout doesn't have that many NPCs, so I think I got a good chance.
I like to moderate the same way I like to judge apples to apples with way too much thought to make sure that the right people lose.
That's what I'm here for.
All right. So, pilots. Let's talk here. Nobody's getting a show unless we have a good first episode. We've got to show it to me. We've got to show it to a focus group. We got to show it to more people and see if it deserves to air for more than one episode. You have 30 minutes, not in real time. Good God, that would take forever. But 30 minutes in game time to give me the pilot rundown of your episode. Andrew, ready, set, go.
Okay. So just like the original Seinfeld, Heifeld is a show about nothing. But we all know that Seinfeld was more than that. It wasn't just about nothing. It was a day in the life, a slice of life of a community living in New York City. So I decided that what's best for Jerry is best for Fi. So I actually recommend rebooting the pilot episode as the pilot here. So this is getting a little meta, but just bear with me here. So we've got Fi and Tingle driving back from some undisclosed area, and they're having a inane conversation, debating whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich. Fi thinks it is. Tingle says it is not. All of a sudden, a stranger rear-ends Fi's car while they're stuck in traffic. The driver looks very nervous as they decide what to do. Do we call the cops? Here's my information, here's your information. Well, they reveal that the man has no insurance. So then we cut to a court scene with the judge kind of setting up the events and then eventually sentencing the man to be Fi's butler in order to pay off the damage. Again, ripped from the exact story of the pilot that George and Jerry tried to launch.
He just did a Control F find and replace
I did.
for all the names.
Even to the wiki, the Seinfeld wiki had no idea what was coming for it. But I feel like in particular, Fi is a really good analog for Jerry's Seinfeld, because one of the things that Jerry's big role in the show was really just to point out the obvious. To be like, oh, can you imagine these guys? Can you believe this? And really, all Fi does in Skyward Sword is just point out the obvious to an awful, awful extent.
That is true.
So I feel like the combination of her robotic delivery and just restating what you're already seeing will make it really easy for the audience to digest.
Okay. All right. It wasn't creative. It wasn't new. It really wasn't anything but changing some names. But it does make sense.
Thanks,
do
man.
get that. It makes some sense.
So with all that said, probably a pretty good pilot for Hollywood to pitch to Hollywood.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
There are only
It
like
is-
3 storylines in all of Hollywood.
It's absolute vanilla, and that's what I'm going with.
That's what keeps white people comfortable.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, everybody knows that there are only 3 Star Wars movies. It's 4, 5, and 6. Everything else is the same, and that's pretty much applicable to the rest of Hollywood. All right, Kyle, go ahead. The Oddish couple. Tell me about
All
it.
right. So, my pilot episode will open with Pokemon Champion Red, Pokemon Master Red, coming down from Mount Silver, looking for a place to live. His mom has gotten used to having a house to herself, doesn't want her son to move back in. Misty, Brock, Professor Oak, all his old friends also similarly don't have a place for him to stay. Professor Oak does have a great idea that his grandson, Blue, has plenty of room for an extended house guest to stay in his Viridian City gym. Upon moving in, Red and Blue learn they could not be less alike. Red is tidy and minimalistic. Blue is messy and extravagant.
Incorrigible asshole.
Blue likes to have a good time, playing music, yelling at people on Xbox. Red prefers quiet reading or meditation. They try to make things work. Red tries to clean up the house and accidentally throws out Blue's gym leader license renewal paperwork.
Uh-oh.
Not a huge deal, except the forms are due at the end of the day today. And if he doesn't get them in, Blue could lose his gym. Will they be able to work together to get this paperwork turned in on time? You have to tune in and see.
Yes. Suspense, thrilling cliffhanger. That's what I like in a good pitch. All
I
right,
just
Zany antics.
at that point, if Blue loses his gym leader license, he's lost all form of his identity. Like, what do you
Yeah, what
do
else
now?
do you have?
That's the
Nothing.
conflict.
Yeah.
I don't do anything.
I feel like
Heroin. I do heroin.
I feel like this had a lot of mystery and intrigue, but I feel like I need more bureaucracy. Like, I want to feel what they're feeling at the county clerk's office. You know what I mean? Like, I want to feel that aggravation. Give me a bottle episode where they're just standing in line.
Listen,
Oh,
I work in a courthouse.
absolutely.
It's a miserable place in there. You don't want to be there.
So now that we have 2 stories that end in strange amounts of bureaucracy, one in court and one with paperwork, Todd, are you gonna fall into the same trap, or you getting out of the government?
No. So we're talking about what, court and paperwork. This is going to be way more exciting. So
Listen, it's at an office.
So it starts with, I want to take notes from The Office without doing exactly what The Office has done, but things that sound right. So we see Strong, who is like this version of Dwight Schrute, and sitting across from Preston Garvey, who is HR's Toby. Strong yells about how Arcade Gannon has yet again put his sledgehammer in Jell-O, and then he puts it on the table. Strong continues to pound on the table, which causes the yellow Jell-O to wiggle humorously while the camera pans in on it. So Preston calls Arcade Gannon in. After a minute of debating, Preston interrupts them by saying, "I know this issue seems pressing right now, but that settlement you just helped yesterday needs your help again," because that's why you hate Preston. Saying this, Lily barges in, yelling about how great Jell-O is, and says she's planned an afternoon of Wasteland team builders to help boost morale. So the rest of the episode is uncomfortable versions of all those terrible games you played at orientation or at like your local office staff retreat. But the cold open ends with Lily knocking the Jell-O off Preston's desk and saying, "Clean that up, Preston. This settlement needs your help. Barf, grow up." In a very like Michael Scott treating Toby terrible sort of way. Because everyone
Wait.
hates Preston.
Who's the Michael Scott?
I'm Lily Bowen, the schizophrenic.
Okay.
Because Lily's actually a really cool character, and there wasn't like a good Michael Scott-esque character, but I wanted someone that you'd like, but could also be erratic and terrible accidentally.
So as someone who's played a lot of bonding games and team building games, I'm gonna need an example.
Ooh, okay, I got you. I went to college for this. So so they're starting with human knot for sure, and it's hot in the wasteland, so it's going to be terrible. Let's see. They're also going to do 2 truths and a lie, which is stupid. But I think the apex of the day is going to be when they end with cross the line, where you ask increasingly uncomfortable questions about your privilege, and you have to cross the line every time it applies to you.
All right, cool.
So to wrap this all up, I wanted to just make it clear, my setting is not the boring court or paperwork. It's an HR setting. So much more riveting and exciting than what these 2 knuckleheads have to offer.
All right, so I just want to recap. The pilots we have are literally the pilot of Seinfeld.
Well, hold on. It's not the pilot of Seinfeld. It's the pilot from Seinfeld.
Okay, all right.
Very different.
So, literally the pilot from Seinfeld.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Wait, I'm lost.
Well, and it's got Phi, the spirit of the goddess sword.
The worst character from the Legend of Zelda series. Go on.
And Tingle, the second worst character from the Legend of Zelda series.
Either the second worst character or the best character, depending on your opinions of Tingle.
And how you feel about the phrase Koala Loompa.
Hey, those are Tingle's words. Don't steal them.
So we have literally the pilot from the pilot of Seinfeld. We have 2 guys move in and lose some shit. And then we have awkward first day at the office shenanigans, right?
Which, to argue, 2 guys who live together and lose their shit is the pilot of The Odd Couple, and awkward first day at the office is the pilot of The Office. So,
okay, so
y'all motherfuckers are down on my level!
I searched for what the pilot of The Office was, and I didn't even remember what the first episode actually was. The very first, I could have sworn the pilot was Diversity Day, but
no,
that's
it's the
episode 2.
paperclip. It's the stapler and the Jello.
Oh, well, so yeah, okay.
Nothing,
I did
nothing
exactly
really
the thing that
happens in
Andrew
the
did.
pilot of The Office, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be real honest, I wasn't around in 1973 to see the pilot of The Odd Couple, so...
That's okay, because the Odd Couple is every show
that
ever.
definitely happened that way. The one person lost their gym leader's license, and the other person had to help him find it.
And now everybody's homeless.
I think the original pilot, they're
Doing
both
street heroin.
divorcees looking for a roommate on analog Craigslist.
I missed the first heroin.
I heard
Todd keeps yelling heroin in the microphone.
I heard the phrases street heroin, and I heard the phrases analog Craigslist.
Kyle, that's just posting up flyers around town. That's analog Craigslist.
Analog Craigslist.
Brought to you by the Yellow Pages.
Oh, Jesus.
Isn't that, that's just the, take a tab, learn guitar.
Yeah.
Like a little thing.
All right, great. Well, moving on to something that will hopefully be slightly more original than ripping the first episode
playing
out of
along
the
at
series.
home, clearly we put a lot of work into this.
We definitely did. All right. Well, whether it's Bazinga, Newman, How You Doing, or Legend, Wait For It, Dairy, forced catchphrases are the only thing that keeps sitcoms relevant. Which of your characters has the cringeworthy, reoccurring catchphrase, and what is it?
Oh, this isn't going to be original at all. This is going to be
a little bit.
No.
a well of
so I mentioned
unoriginality.
earlier, Phi's dream is becoming a stand-up comic in the big scary city of New York City. Now, knowing what we know about Phi's personality, and she has a tendency to point out the obvious, I feel like she'll probably go along the lines of Jerry Seinfeld's trademark brand of comedy, of obviously, pointing out things around her. So I took the liberty at kind of rewriting one of Jerry Seinfeld's classic lines, and I'm not going to do the voice, but just imagine you're hearing beep, 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 beep. Like you hear Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
It's so much worse without the voice. I need the voice, or I'm not going to get in the headspace.
Do we want to do? I can do 2. Do you want me to do 2? You want to do 2? How about 2?
I want you to do 1 as the voice, and then 1 as the voice imitating Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do.
100%.
No one's going to win. I'm sorry, everyone in advance.
All right, we got 2 takes. If you don't hear 2 takes, that means Matt erased one because it was so bad. Alright, here we
Yeah,
go.
if this is awful, we can cut everything about you trying to do this voice.
Master, you must exercise extreme caution around the grape nuts. My calculations show with an 89.3% certainty that they are neither grapes nor nuts.
It's so good, and I hate it.
100% staying in.
That was
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
good.
Definitely saying it. All right.
All right, do we need to do the Seinfeld take?
Yes.
We do the Seinfeld take?
Definitely.
All right, how is it do? Master, you must exercise extreme caution around the grape nuts. My calculations show with an 89.3% certainty that they are neither grapes nor nuts.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Holy smokes. All right. That happened.
Well, I think I have to concede, because I
That
don't think we can do better than that, Todd.
I'm not gonna try and do a voice like that.
My entire
no.
life has come to this. I peaked at 30.
Oh god.
All right, Todd. Go ahead. And
Well, I'll let Kyle go first.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm out of order. Kyle, you go ahead. And do know that you are like 6 points behind without a voiceover right now.
Well, I'm really disappointed, because I don't remember quite what Gary sounded like in the anime, but the catchphrase
It was
is
kind
built
of
in.
like a it's milliliter. One of those.
That was
Well,
pretty
It
accurate.
was, yeah. Just try and be Sonic.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
basically.
so the catchphrase is built in from the anime. Anytime, every time Blue leaves the gym, he's gonna announce his departure with a very loud, very to the camera, "Smell you later," followed by a thunderous studio audience applause.
Great. Excellent. I wish that there was more than audio to this podcast, because if everyone in the world could see the face that Kyle made to say "smell you later," the world would be a better place.
It was
He
pretty
wrinkled.
glorious.
He wrinkled a lot.
All right, Todd, now your turn.
Oh god. So the big thing with Strong, when you get him in whichever Fallout it was, 4, I think, he references the milk of human kindness being the source of strength, because
Gross.
like it's well, yeah,
So
for
gross.
sure. Well, if you take it literal, then yeah. And he keeps referring to like Macbeth saying that the milk of human kindness. Well, it's a Macbeth quote about how the milk of human kindness, yada yada. So anyway, obviously it's the joke that that only Strong doesn't get. So every time he references the milk of human kindness, Arcade Gannon has to pan to the camera and give that exasperated Jim look.
Are you trying to infer that the milk of human kindness is gonna be your "that's what she said"?
I mean, I like to think of it more as the thing I keep thinking about is there's an episode of The Office where Dwight is referencing how he's gonna go play or how the next day is Friday or is Saturday, where he thinks Thursday is actually Friday.
Oh
And
yeah,
when he
where the
references
whole
it in
office
that
is
moment,
full of
and when he references it in that moment, Jim kind of like shoots a look to the camera, and I think it's that. I think it's every time Strong talks about the milk of human kindness,
Okay.
the audience gets a chuckle, but everyone else is like, "Yeah, we're in on this joke."
So we have
Gotcha.
to assume that this will be a mockumentary style as well, yes?
Well, that's kind of what The Office is. Only it's a mockumentary of all of them, because none of them have any positive career aspects until like the last 2 seasons. So
Right.
they all
Right, when
hold
they
the
try
same
to-
job.
Yeah, when they try to develop the narrative that everyone's amazing.
Yeah, the only person that gets any sort of upgrade is Andy by accident, and Pam lies her way to a new job, which is super ethical. So,
Yeah.
so if we're doing character voices, this is going to be great, because he's just an angry super mutant. So, he would say something like, "Strong hope we find milk of human kindness." Which, now that I've said it, it sounds like a grunting Yoda, and I don't feel good about it.
That's too late. It
Like,
exists forever
Grunting
now.
Yoda is our first character.
See, comparatively, I thought after Andrew did the whole Jerry Seinfeld thing, that was going to be like the best worst thing, but here's that. So
No, that was actually just great.
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Uh-huh.
That's
I-
that's
only-
going in the stinger. Put it in the stinger.
Well, I was just about to make a B movie reference, so never mind. It all just went full circle accidentally.
Feinfeld and grunting Yoda. All right. Now that we've gotten through that cringe-a-thon, how could you possibly sell a sitcom in 2018 without some kind of shoehorned B-list celebrity cameo? So who is it? Which episode is it? And why the hell are they there?
All right, so I went through and I thought about the most iconic supporting characters from Seinfeld, because there are a lot. So there are probably more here not on this list, but these are some of my favorites. Newman, Bubble Boy, Soup Nazi, Aaron the Close Talker, and Uncle Leo. Those are the ones that I want to cover. And yes, boys, I did cast all these and more. But those are the ones I'll focus on right now. Actually, let's focus on those first four. All right, so Newman, I love Uncle Leo, but I don't love my choice for that. All right, so Newman is the insufferable neighbor, played by Wayne Knight. He's slovenly, he's underhanded, he's just a piece of shit. Well, we're going to cast him as a Rivali from Breath of the Wild, because Rivali is the fucking worst. He's arrogant, he acts like a jackass for no absolute reason other than to piss off Link and everyone else. So Newman is kind of a recurring character. So these are more of your one-offs. So I think this would be like, and we're bringing back the Bubble Boy. Bubble Boy is going to be played by Agatha from Twilight Princess.
Good.
Which this sounds mean, but just hear me out. She's eccentric. She's a bit of a shut-in, and she has this unhealthy obsession with bugs. I thought that fit pretty well with the Bubble Boy. She is a bit of a loner, a bit of a pariah, if you will. Now, my favorite one here is the Soup Nazi. Everyone knows the Soup Nazi. Everyone loves the Soup Nazi. I can't think of anyone better in the Zelda universe than to cast the Soup Nazi as the Happy Mask Salesman. That's right.
Is he going to yell no mask for you?
Yeah, exactly. The Happy Mask Salesman is a horrifying monster of a man.
It's true.
He's horrifying, especially if you've played Majora's Mask. Within the first 5 minutes, he is displaying about 5 different emotions. Like he hits some high notes. He appears sweet, but then he's incredibly volatile, and he'll fly off the handle at a moment's notice. So that felt a pretty close analog to the Soup Nazi. In that every interaction with him is a nightmare. Now everyone loves the Soup Nazi. My personal favorite Seinfeld character is Aaron the Close Talker, played by Judge Reinhold. I love that episode so damn much. So I think a good fit for the Close Talker is the Owl Kapora Gabora.
Oh, it's like its head is in your face spinning.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because that's all you see in Ocarina of Time is just that fucking owl just angry. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? You've never met this fucking owl. He just shows up. He's so friendly to you, and he wants to talk and gab your ears off until you literally have to be like, no, get out of here. So that felt pretty close to Judge Reinhold's classic take on the Close Talker. So there you go. I think between those three, we've got enough goofy side characters to keep people coming back.
Yeah. All right. I feel good about that answer. Kyle, you want to go ahead and throw your hat in the ring? Or your ball, should I say?
My Pokeball?
Yeah, I think that I might say that.
All right.
No one asked for that to happen.
But everyone got it.
Confidence in the punchline.
So my show has an endless stream of Pokemon NPCs that can show up. In the opening episode alone, in the pilot, we're going to get Brock, Misty, Professor Oak, Red's mom. Pikachu, fan favorite's going to be there.
You know, everyone's favorite, Red's mom.
Hey,
I hear she's got it going on.
we're just going to end that before it
Thanks
goes
for joining us,
else.
everybody. This has been Debate This.
That's it. Podcast is over.
But we've got every gym leader from 7 generations of Pokemon that can show up. And there's your celebrity cameos. Boom. Roasted.
All right.
Bringing in the OGs.
Yep.
Now, where do you fit in Whitney and her Miltank?
Whitney is going to be featured heavily in season 3 as the point of a love triangle between red and blue.
Love that.
Ooh. All right.
Can Nurse Joy be? Actually, no. You know what? I don't care who. Well, Nurse Joy, it doesn't matter who that is. Can going off of the current, I guess, pop culture, I guess, stereotypes. Can Pikachu be played by Scarlett Johansson? Can she also take that?
We are going to cast an actual Pikachu actor in that role. We're gonna go
And
for
Danny DeVito.
authenticity,
Is it Danny
and
DeVito? It's Danny DeVito.
we're gonna go and we're trying to create new opportunities for Pokemon actors, and we're going to cast an actual Pikachu in that role.
That's any opportunity to make fun of the Scarlett Johansson thing 'cause it's topical.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll take this home. So with any good celebrity cameo, it's all about the moment they show up. There's always like this build up and then they show up. So I've got two that I would like to introduce to the Wasteland. And so if you're familiar with another super mutant from, I think, Fallout 3, Fox, I think was the one he was from. Typical super mutant, morally, I guess, just not like crazy or terrible, but carries a sledgehammer, big presence. He will be played by the one, the only John Cena. And when it comes to the Wasteland, he's going to bust through a wall, and it's going to be John Cena playing this super mutant.
Wait, this is John Cena as Fox as a Office character?
You know, why are you trying to make sense of it? At this point, it's just, yeah, Fox is in the office. If he has to pick, so he's Kevin. That's Fox is Kevin. That's
Played by
his
John
role.
Cena.
Yeah, but played by John Cena. So
Now, does John Cena have purple makeup, or how's this
Well,
work?
Fox
it's
is like green.
it's just like flat bill cap.
Yeah.
Actually, you know,
wrestling T-shirt.
I thought
John
I had a
Cena.
picture of Fox up. He might be wearing cutoff jeans already, so we might already be
Perfect.
like light
We're
years
halfway
ahead
there.
of where we're supposed to be.
Let me know what you searched to find him, because I googled Fox Fallout. Now I just have a bunch of furries who have modded themselves into
you gotta-
Fallout.
you gotta-
Fox, like Fawkes, like
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so-
was a
Not
mistake.
Like
animal.
Guy.
So, update, he doesn't wear jorts, but he does wear jeans with combat boots. So he's basically John Cena. So, like, this seems a little bit more lazy than I wanted it to be, but that's right.
It's not
So-
lazy, Todd. It's on the nose casting.
If you are familiar with Fallout 4, there was a mission called the Whiskey Dang Tango or something like that, where in that mission, wait, here it is, the Wang Dang Automatic Tango mission, and you basically end up recruiting, I guess, like prostitutes of specific varieties, and the third thing you recruit is a sex bot. In this edition of The Wasteland, and I don't know why The Wasteland suddenly needs a sex bot, but it does, and don't argue with me, because the celebrity cameo who is playing Mr. Fisto, the sex bot,
Oh, yeah.
I'll let you get that out of your system before I tell you.
I don't think there's anything to get out of our system.
Oh,
That's-
well, in the game, after Mr. Fisto does what he means to do to you, you're extremely dehydrated. It happens. It's terrible. But
no.
Mr. Fisto will be played by the one, the only, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's right, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is Mr. Fisto in The Wasteland. Don't know how
I
he can-
lost the format here.
It doesn't matter.
Are we
I-
still in the office? Like, what
They're
happened?
in the Wasteland office. Okay, fine. Let's do this then. So there's the episode of The Office where Jim hires a stripper, and it is what's his name? Thomas
Franklin?
Edison, Ben Franklin. So in this edition, they end
So
up
it's gonna be
hiring.
so it's gonna be don't tell me it's gonna be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
Mhm.
playing a robot
Uh-huh.
portraying Ben Franklin as a stripper from The Office. Got it.
Well,
okay.
I mean, I think in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Wasteland
no,
they
so-
wouldn't bring Ben Franklin, though they could. It's just a stripper being Mr. Fisto. Listen, the Rock, our most popular Samoan, is going to play a robot deemed only for sex, and you're going to
I have a
argue
counter-
about this?
I have a counter question though.
Yes.
So the question, if
This is an airtight
Matt,
statement, so let's hear it.
so The Rock is on paper. It's pretty well known that The Rock is one of the most, if not the most, highly paid actor currently available right now. So how are you going to pay for The Rock to be in your show?
Oh,
so
easy.
much
No,
Apple
no,
product
no.
placement.
What was that, Kyle?
So much Apple product placement.
Oh, well, there's that. But this is kind of like drunk.
It's just one big ad.
I'm
Dwayne The Rock Johnson playing Edie, playing fucking.
It's 20 minutes of
robot.
Apple ads, 2 minutes of The Rock as this weird sex robot, and then credits roll.
Which now is making me think of that old sketch Sex Robot, but it's not that.
Oh, from Whitest Kids You Know? Because that's the
yes.
first thing I thought of.
Yep,
Sex
got
robot,
it.
sex robot.
So to answer your question, Andrew, it's an airtight argument, and
Sure.
it'll be supported. His budget will be supported by product placement and lots of it. And also, it's just kind of the allure that Drunk History has, where really famous people go onto it because they're like, shit, I want to be part of Drunk History. I get it.
Yeah. They
And
definitely
mind you-
want to be part of this reboot of The Office that isn't really a reboot of The Office.
And let's make it clear. Dwayne The Rock Johnson's screen time is a total of 15 seconds. The Apple product placement shows up 3 minutes before him and 20 minutes after.
Sure.
Listen,
Got
I started looking up really strange Fallout NPCs, and then for some reason I got on like a WWE kick, and this just kind of happened. I lost control of where I was going.
That is the natural course of looking through
Those
Fallout lore.
13 seconds The Rock will appear on camera will cost approximately $15 million.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Now it is time for everyone's favorite part of this podcast that they don't know is their favorite part of this podcast yet. The super secret bonus question. And to keep it nice and topical, your main character has just tweeted something incredibly racist. You've canceled your show and you have 2 weeks to reboot it with a new title and the exact same cast minus one person. Who tweeted the racist thing? Who's the new main character? And what's the title of the new spin-off sitcom?
All right, I got this. Back off, everybody. All right. So it's somewhat believable that Fi. It's not that believable that Fi would tweet something racist because her programming wouldn't allow it. But I'll suspend my disbelief. So in the event that Fi tweeted something racist, it was probably delivered in very broken English. Fortunately, we have some replacements in tow. There are plenty of Legend of Zelda characters that don't only exist to point out the obvious. So we're going to do a quick swap. We're not going to change anything. We're going to do a quick swap, Fi for Navi the Fairy.
I saw that coming from a mile away.
That was the world's longest setup. Yeah,
Ooh.
Navi the Fairy. We'll just change the. Well, we don't even have to change the title. Did I say it was Highfeld?
Yeah.
Great. Then let's keep that. We're good. Keep this train a rolling, baby.
All right, Kyle.
So it's gonna be the actor who plays Red. He's gonna finally snap and just go on a awful rant. Like Twitter considers shutting down how awful.
But
this
only
rant is.
considers, because Lord knows they don't take anybody off of Twitter.
No.
They said they would, but they don't.
And we're just gonna straight up replace him with Ashton Kutcher. No character name, no like role. He's just gonna be Ashton Kutcher playing himself, and they're gonna brutally kill Red off camera.
I hope that he's credited as Ashton Ash Ketchum Kutcher.
Yes, 100%.
Good. All right, cool. Todd, you're up.
Yeah, so here in the wasteland, Arcade Gannon I think is a pretty decent human being, but maybe he had one too many Ambien and was tweeting, and like that happens.
It happens.
That's also topical. He could have easily said some, if not racist, at least culturally offensive things. And so what's going to happen is that we're going to do a clean swap. We're going to pretend, if we just wrapped up season 2, or even if it's midway through season 2, we're just doing a clean swap. And we are replacing Arcade Gannon with Dog Meat, with the dog follower that everyone loves from every Fallout game ever. And so if you are familiar with Arcade Gannon, he's got like white hair and these thick black, like thick rimmed glasses and a lab coat. So now Dog Meat is also going to wear thick black
Perfect.
glasses and a lab coat.
That's good.
and it's no one says a single thing about it. I think they actually just, I don't know if they call him Arcade Ganon or if they just call him Dog Meat, but whatever it is, no one says anything. No, I think they still call him Arcade Ganon. And the show is now called The Wasteland with Dog Meat as Arcade Ganon. And that's just what it is.
So two questions.
Yeah, let's hear it.
One, for the cold open, the episode where you replace Arcade Ganon with Dog Meat, is it going to be just a straight rip of the Asian gym prank from The Office?
It's pretty close. And the thing is, since it's going to be this like I am Groot situation where he obviously can't talk, he just barks, and people continue the dialogue as though they know what he's saying. That
was my second question. Is Dog Meat going to be a talking dog?
The dog will be portrayed by Vince Diesel.
Lesser known actor Vince Diesel.
Yes.
We keep saying Vince Diesel. You mean Vin Diesel?
I say.
You said Vince Diesel.
Oh, and America's favorite actor, Vincent Diesel.
You said Vince Diesel, and I tried to keep going, and Todd thought I also
swatted it out of the air. But yeah, so I think that's what it's got to be.
Thanks for steering along the skid with me, Kyle.
Dog, thick-rimmed glasses, lab coat, and no one says anything.
All right.
Good.
Great. So.
You're welcome for what we've done.
You know, and it's weird because like I'm at a loss at how exactly to judge this, because it's just we've rebranded 3 sitcoms with characters from games that no one has heard of. Well, they've heard of the games, but most people haven't heard of the characters. We're just doubling down on this. So double down one more time for me. Give me the closing statement. Wrap this up in a way that makes your shitty reboot seem like the least shitty of the shitty reboots.
Well, Seinfeld is the greatest sitcom of all time. Legend of Zelda is the greatest game franchise of all time. When you mash those two things together, it becomes like a supergroup. It will be the greatest piece of entertainment that the world has ever seen.
All right.
Because every attempt at a supergroup has been so successful. That's
not logic, but that's how Hollywood thinks.
You know what? I think Zack Snyder proved that. So
yes,
it's if Seinfeld was rebooted by the director of The Expendables.
What's that? It's not good yet. We need to add more people. Okay.
Yeah. I'd watch it on Netflix.
Straight to Netflix.
It's the shame of my own home.
Yeah, that's the real mark of a good sitcom. It went straight to Netflix. Definitely good.
Straight to Hulu.
Oof.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
As long as we don't fall into that YouTube Red territory, I think we'll be all right.
So we can cross Netflix and Hulu off our list of potential sponsors for the show.
Amazon, hit us up.
So my closing statements are every sitcom is more or less just a ripoff of The Odd Couple. You put two very different people in the same room and watch them interact. It's tried and true. Everybody loves Pokemon. It's one of the most successful media franchises in the world. You get your chocolate and your peanut butter together, and you make a delicious Reese's that is The Oddish Couple.
Good.
The best name.
Yeah, I don't know what to say other than The Office and the Fallout series are both really good, and I think together they could make a good, weird sitcom. And I'm still pretty hung up on the dog in the lab coat with the glasses, so I don't really have a good defense anymore.
to the point that's the show now. But forget Arcade Ganon, it's Dog Meat.
But I'm gonna say, if you haven't at this point Googled Fox the Super Mutant and pretended that's John Cena, there's nothing else I can tell you as to why this is the right choice, except it just makes sense.
All right. Well, I have some things to consider. I first must figure out a way to consider the things that I have to consider.
Podcast.
I have no rubric for this project, but I have finished pieces that I need to judge somehow. So while I'm working on that, why don't y'all talk nice about each other for a little while?
I feel like this is a pretty cordial episode.
Well, it's because they were all like things that we liked with other things that we liked. And it wasn't combative. It was just who can give a less shitty argument to Matt to deal with.
Yeah.
Who
So
has
really, the person that we should
who
all
has
gang
the
up
best
against is
worst
Matt.
idea?
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, God damn. I mean, I said this 4 times. The Oddish Couple. It's so
That's
good.
really good.
That's
It's
really
so
good.
And I was really hoping. So a little behind the scenes, I was really hoping that Todd was going to pull out some real abstract Fallout characters, and boy howdy did he deliver. Because I don't feel like anyone else in this show or related to this show is positioned to deliver those types of hot tracks. So kudos to you, Todd.
Yeah.
I've got to say Todd's like Fallout Office hybrid mashup would be the weirdest thing on television and the exact kind of show I would fall in love with. It wouldn't be boring. We'll put it that way. The high what's your
Highfeld.
Sure, whatever you want it to be. Highfeld.
It's similar to my idea. You mashed your chocolate and your peanut butter together. You cast
You got
the worst
weird
character
Reese's.
into the lead, so I can't help you there. But it sounds like a A+ show.
Thanks, bud.
When I went for like the obscure characters, especially whoever was going to play the Michael Scott-esque character, it needed to be someone who looked right if they were cradling a 1-pound basket of cheese puffs. And that's why I went with Lily Bowen, so there's that. Yeah, man, exactly like Andrew said, Oddish Couple's so good. And the fact alone, like you quoting Gary was also really, really good. Obviously, like I'm an old school Pokemon fan, so like these are speaking to the things that I know and care about. Had you gone,
I know my audience.
yeah, had you gone past that first generation, you would have lost me pretty quick.
Yeah.
And as far as Highfeld, damn it, what, like you like I get that Seinfeld was kind of the precursor to It's Always Sunny in the sense that it was like pretty terrible people at some points doing things, but you took like some of the most annoying characters of the Zelda universe and then forcibly mashed them together and then forced that mashup into our faces and made us deal with it. And like
I'm not hearing a compliment here.
Well, I'm
So
gonna
weird.
maybe get there. I'm gonna pull this
He
nose
was
dive out.
hoping you would, because he doesn't have one.
Oh, okay, here's one. So you chose Fee, which was a choice that you made.
Yep. I stand by it.
I'm happy that you didn't choose 4 Fees. I'm glad you didn't do that, because that would have been really bad.
Thanks,
No, I
bud.
mean I liked Tingle. That was good. And I didn't play Skyward Sword or the one with Midna, whatever one that was.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, which I heard is really good. But I can at least appreciate Tingle and Midna, and Ravio, I guess. But man, Highfeld and the Oddish Couple are 2 of the best. Like when I saw that you were going for Highfeld, I'm like, that was good. That was
Thanks,
really
man.
good.
Oh, you pulled it out. It only took like half hour, but you.
I wish there would have been
there.
more Gorons, but you know what? Hey, beggars can't be choosers.
Well, funny story. I had Darunia from Ocarina of Time as my Kramer, as my alt Kramer, and I ended up going with Ravio because I felt like the whole salesman thing like really fit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Though I like a Goron being Kramer. Like how Kramer
Yeah.
kind of like stumbles and slides into the room
Yeah,
every time.
yeah,
Goron
exactly.
would just
rolling.
smash the
I
door
can see,
down
I can see him like
every
rolling
time.
into the, hey, buddy.
All right,
right.
Matt, tell us which one of us is the least wrong.
You know, I gotta say, like, for coming up with a really weird episode topic, you all did very well. Like, I gotta commend you on
Hooray.
that. We really managed to take nothing and turn it into just slightly less than nothing for the last
And
45
that's
minutes or
the
so.
kind of real good material you can expect from Debate This. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at DebateCast.
Make sure you
Debate This
you
cast.
leave that Apple iTunes review for us too. It'll really help us in the podcast
really,
charts.
Really helps.
All right, so for a decision here, you know, Todd, your knowledge of deep Fallout lore is impressive. However, I did say at the beginning of this episode there was one NPC that was
Who
going
was
to earn
it?
you the win. And Three Dog was not included in your script.
Okay, so I thought about if I was gonna cast Three Dog, it would have had to been. I kept thinking Aziz Ansari for some reason as like Three Dog just because of his personality, and like, I just couldn't make him be a thing. And I was not that big of a Three Dog fan, so...
All right, well, then that just secures the fact that you lose, so there you go.
I know
All
I'm
right,
at
well,
the end of this
bye,
pack.
Todd.
I'm gonna wave to you guys as you pull away.
Well, the debate between Highfeld and the Oddish couple is an interesting one, because I know Legend of Zelda, but I don't much care for it. But I do know Seinfeld, and I don't know the Odd Couple, but I do care a lot for Pokemon. And so I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna make this decision on branding alone, and the Oddish Couple is just too damn good to walk away from.
Yeah.
Kyle, you are definitely the winner of this mess. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
And with that, my friends, there you have it. Thank you so much for listening to Debate This. Follow along with the argument on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at DebateThisCast, and let us know what you think. I'm Matt Cole.
I'm Andrew, always says sure when other people are talking. Henderson.
I'm Kyle, very self-conscious of how he laughs through hard nasal exhales now. Harper.
And I'm Todd, types aggressively into his microphone, Thomas.
One more time, just to remind you, I edit this podcast, and I'm saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.